How do we practice? Well, we want to have three main things in our practice. We want to have a warm-up, a solid warm-up, we want to have some technical practice, and then we want to have some game-specific practice. Come with me. This is one of my practice sessions. I'm going to talk you through exactly what I go through. This part of a practice session is essential, warming up properly. If you're not warm, your body's not going to be able to move the way we want it to, and you're going to find it really difficult to get the best out of that practice session. So make sure you warm up properly. That means stretching and moving the way that you're going to move when you make a golf swing. When it comes to hitting those first few shots of your practice session, it's always good to start with your most lofted club. So as you can see, a few shots with my 60-degree wedge just to get used to the feeling of how my body's moving on any given day. Not really that fussed about how far the ball goes, not even really that bothered about where it goes, provided I'm striking it relatively well. Now for me, I like to go through the odd clubs. I don't hit every single club in the bag, but I like to go for the odd ones. So I'm going to hit a few shots with a 9-iron. Once I've hit a few shots with my 9-iron, so I've started to loosen up a little bit, and it's still a fairly lofted club, I'm going to jump up to my next odd number iron, so 7-iron. Again, once I've hit a few shots with my 7-iron, I'm now at the middle of my bag, so I'm going to jump up again to my next odd iron, which is a 5-iron. And to be honest, I probably won't go any higher than this at this stage of my session, because this, remember, is just the warm-up. We're going to move into the technical practice after I've hit a few with the 5. Once I've hit my 5-iron a few times, that's pretty much the end of my warm-up. Now, in this stage of my session, I'm not really concerned about where the ball's going. As I say, I'm just loosening my body up in preparation for then going on and doing my technical and games-based practice. So technical-based practice is really down to what you feel you need to work on or what you've been working on with your coach. So for me personally, I'm going to be hitting a lot of 7-iron and 6-iron shots in my practice, because what I'm working on is trying not to get the club too far on the inside on my downswing. So I've set up a drill behind me and I'm just going to hit a load of shots, really trying to focus on making sure that club comes over the top of the stick on the downswing. Hopefully my swing path is going to be a bit more neutral, and this also helps me to exit the hitting area a little bit more to the left, which for me has always been an issue. I tend to get the club going out too far to the right hand side, flip my hands over, too much side spin and no control over where the ball's going. This is where maybe every 3 or 4 or 5 shots, something like that, you're going to take a video of your swing and see how it's looking. So I've been able here to just pause the video and have a look at my swing back, and I've just noticed that I haven't probably quite got this drill set up in exactly the right place. Now this is the benefit to being able to video your own golf swing, because you can check and you can make changes in session to make sure you're working on the right things. So what I'm going to do now is just adjust this drill slightly to make sure it's perfect for what I'm trying to work on. At this point, I'm pretty happy with where I've got the stick. I'm pretty happy with how my swing's feeling, and I know that I'm moving in the right direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change from a 7-iron to a 6-iron and see if I can keep the same swing going with a different club. Now I've hit a few shots with my 6-iron, I've realised that my session's not going quite as well when I've changed to this club as what it was when I had the 7-iron in my hands. So I've had a quick look at the video and I'm going to make a little adjustment to what my session looks like to change what's happening. Basically, the ball flight was going a little bit off to the right hand side, so I'm probably coming down a decent swing path because I'm not hitting the stick, and obviously that's positive, but my club face is a touch open, and it also feels as though I'm striking it a bit from the heel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stick out on my start line, and then I'm going to try and shape the ball around that stick a bit more. Really important, if you choose to use a start stick, you want to set it up on the ball to target line. So make sure you set it up really, really well. It has to be bang on that line, otherwise it's going to be pointless. I'm pretty happy with how that's going. I'm hitting my 6-iron much, much better now I've added the start stick in, and I'm swinging above the swing path stick every single time. So I'm pretty happy that my session's going well. I'm happy that that's the end of my technical practice, because you doesn't need to do too much. This is the thing. You don't need to come down to the driving range and hit balls for hours and hours on end. You certainly don't need to come and hit 100 balls every time, because what you'll find is that your focus disappears after hitting a few shots. That's why with this little 3-part system, you're hopefully never going to get bored, but you are going to see some real improvements on your game. So now I'm going to move into doing my games-based practice. My games-based practice for this particular session is going to be based on what I was working on in my technical practice. So it links in really nicely, and this is what you should try and do when you go to the range. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 6-iron and my 7-iron, and I'm going to do a greens and regulation challenge. I'm going to set myself a target on the range, which is the size of a kind of average green. So it's going to have a right-hand side and a left-hand side. And I'm going to define a middle point as well. So I'm going to split the green into 2. With each shot, I've got to hit alternate sides of the green. But within that, I'm going to give myself a point if I hit the green, just any part of the green. And I'm going to give myself an additional point if I hit the right half of the green. If I miss the green, then I'm going to get -1 point. And my goal is to try and finish with as many points as possible over the course of 15 balls. That's my first shot on my games-based element of my practice session. What you'll notice is I'm now going through my pre-shot routine for every shot that I'm going to hit. Now I've hit a really good shot there. It's hit the left half of the green, so I've got 2 points with my first ball. I've got 14 balls remaining. The goal of this part of the session is to make the practice as purposeful as possible and to replicate what we're going to experience on the golf course. We're never going to be able to replicate entirely the feeling of pressure that we would experience in a competition, let's say. But if we can practice in as close to the same environment as we're going to experience on the golf course as possible, we give ourselves the best chance of being able to replicate what we do in our practice to what we do on the golf course. That's why in this section of my practice, my purposeful games-based practice, that I'm going to try and make sure I do exactly what I would do in this situation when I'm on the golf course. So pre-shot routine for every shot is really important. Ball number 2 was on the green, but the wrong side, so just 1 point. Ball number 3 missed on the left side of the green when I was aiming for the left half, so that's -1 point. I had 3 points before because I hit the right side and hit the wrong side, so that's 3, and I'm -1 off. What I've noticed from the first 3 balls of my games-based practice is I've got a little bit more of a draw shape on the shots than I would like. What I would experience on the golf course in this situation is I can't change that because it's now on the golf course and I can't get the repetition of shots I would need on the range to be able to change it. So I need to make an adjustment to my start direction rather than trying to change my swing. Ball 4, terrible swing, missed on the right hand side, -1 point. Now I've only got 1 point left. Ball number 5, hit the green but the wrong side, just 1 point, 2 points. Ball 6, best swing yet, right side of the green, 2 points. 4 total. Ball 7, on the green but the wrong side, just 1 point, that's 5 points. Ball number 8, right side, hit the green, 2 points, that gives me 7 in total. Ball 9, probably the best swing so far. Correct side of the green, 2 points, that gives me 9 in total. Ball 10, missed on the right hand side of the green, just, but it's still missed. That's minus a point, so I'm on 8 points, 5 balls to go. Ball 11, perfect, correct side of the green, 2 points. That gives me 10 total. Ball 12, just a slight overdraw to finish on the wrong side of the green, but I still hit it, so that gives me an extra point, 11 points, 3 balls left. Correct side of the green, 2 points, that gives me 13. I've got 2 balls left. My goal is to finish on at least 15 points to match the number of golf balls. Ball 14 hit the green but the wrong side, so I'm on 14 points. I've got to get 1 more point to match 15 balls for 15 points. This is where this part of the practice becomes really, really beneficial, because although there's nothing really on the line, I still get that feeling of a little bit of pressure and I really want to hit a good shot. So I've got a possibility here of finishing on 13 points, 15 points, or 16 points. Let's see where we can go. Slightly disappointing, I've just hit the side of the green, still gives me a point, had a chance for 2, but I'm happy with that. I finished on 15 points for my 15 balls. The great thing about a session like this is we've covered all of the bases that we need to cover. We've had a warm-up, we've done some technical practice, and now we've also done some games-based practice, which is hopefully going to get me to feel more comfortable when I next experience that situation on the golf course. This hasn't taken a huge amount of time. I don't need to get myself 100 balls. I've probably only hit a total of about 40 or so. So if you can get 40 or 50 balls, that's more than enough. The biggest thing I want you to take away from this is that we want your practice to be purposeful. What we don't want to do is just come down to the driving range and aimlessly hit golf balls and give ourselves a pat on the back because we've come and done some practice. Our practice has to have some kind of direction in order for us to make improvements. Think about football training or tennis training or going to the gym. All of those sessions are going to have a warm-up, some technical practice, and maybe a game at the end. The nature of the game of golf is that we practice on a very different environment to the one that we play on. So we've got to try and be a little bit more imaginative about how we go about our practice or training to make sure that it really benefits us when we get out onto the golf course. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure next time you go down to the driving range that it's not practice, it's training that you're focusing on doing, and hopefully that's going to help you play some better golf next time you're out on the golf course. I'd love it if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you next time.